If I asked you about what movies or works of art changed your life and had a tremendous impact on your development as a person, what would you respond with? How do you even quantify the impact a piece of media has had on you? How would you answer? Well, I know how I would answer. I would proudly plant my feet, raise my head, and proclaim that two movies forever changed me in absolutely critical ways. One being Adam Sandler's Click, and the other being Disney's Meet the Robinsons. I promise neither of those statements are a joke or ironic, and by the end of this movie, you'll understand why. Lately, Meet the Robinsons has gained a bit of a cult classic status, which, while I love to see it, probably isn't for the same reasons I'm talking about it today. It's a bit of a black sheep in the Disney filmography, partly due to the overall quality of the film falling short of mainstream animation at the time. It came out after the Disney Renaissance had firmly ended. They were making their change to 3D, struggling to find traction with their princess formula in a changing public landscape, and just being massively outshone by other studios. Around this time, Pixar was busy making I don't know, just some of the best animated movies ever made, almost one after another. DreamWorks was becoming a huge force and unknowingly forever inking themselves into meme culture. Oh yeah, and Blue Sky was there too. They were just kind of happy to be there. Rest in peace, Ice Age. Now, before I begin, I want to thank my Patreon supporters. You all are amazing and help keep my creativity flowing. If you'd like to support, link is in the description, along with the Discord and my Blue Sky. So, this is my look back at Meet the Robinsons and how it saved my future. Right out of the gate, Meet the Robinsons establishes a somber base for itself as we open on a rainy night, a hooded figure carrying a baby up to the steps of an orphanage with very obvious apprehension. She hears a mysterious noise from behind and decides it's now or never, and she leaves her baby at the steps as we hear a knock on the door. The baby being left on the steps bit may be a bit cliche and played out, but I think this is handled well, especially considering the context that we get at the end of the movie. It's very visually effective too, with a washed out, desaturated and warm color palette. It feels both tragic and cozy as bittersweet music plays in the background, the ending of one future and the beginning of another. We then meet our protagonist Lewis as he tinkers with various electronics and components, being assisted by his sleep-deprived roommate at the orphanage, Mike Yagubian. I also found it charming how Mike's introduction was just him talking in a stream of consciousness. It makes him come off as really earnest and very much like an average kid who's just kind of along for Lewis's ride. I always found this moment where Lewis stares at his invention to be really impactful. It's such a small moment, but it sells that Lewis is just so overjoyed to invent and create. The look on his face of, "I made that," is a sensation I feel like everyone has experienced at least once. Thankfully, Mike snaps him out of it, and Lewis heads to his adoption interview. Mildred and Mike both come off as concerned but loving people, and it's in a very toned-down way that I appreciate. It feels real, you know? Like these aren't just all happy-go-lucky Disney caricatures, but actual people. Moving on, we join Lewis at his interview. He's so eager to show off his invention and imagination, but unfortunately, his peanut butter jelly gun jams and showers the would-be adopting couple with peanut butter and jelly, which is really bad as the husband has a severe peanut allergy. Why didn't they say that? They literally just said, we don't really eat that much peanut butter. Like, this is just as much your fault for not telling this little kid this critical information. What are you doing? I'm getting off track. The couple leaves in a hurry, and we cut to Lewis on the roof. Mildred's the caretaker at the orphanage, by the way, comes up to try and give Lewis a pep talk and cheer him up. She sees the value in Lewis and tries to reassure him that the right family will come. This leads to one of the heaviest moments to me. Lewis simply just says,
124.
He's been counting the number of failed attempts at him getting adopted, the number of times a family has denied him. Every failure deeply ingrained in his mind, seeing every one as another nail in his future's coffin. This moment is what sets up the beauty of the rest of the movie. He's counted every single failure. Every one of them has taken so much out of him, and with each failure, the light at the end of his tunnel gets dimmer. The score and the visuals are great here too. It really sets this up as an impactful moment with the toned down colors, the drab grays, browns, and pale reds of the environment, making this stifling atmosphere. It feels constricted, like it's hard to breathe. Near the tail end of her talk, Mildred accidentally puts the idea of finding his genetic mom in Lewis's head. She tries to talk him out of it, but it's too late, and Lewis is already setting his course in his mind. There's such a manic hope here. It's part of the reason that this bit hits me so hard. I've been in that desperate, manic, overly hopeful state many times in my life, and I can feel what Lewis is feeling right now. Lewis decides he's going to probe into his memories to figure out who his mom is, and sets out on designing the device that would shape the future and kickstart the events of the entire movie. I love this montage. I don't know, just something about montages from this era of animated movies hits me just right. Throughout it, we see Lewis putting all his time and energy into inventing, causing Goob, that's Mike by the way, to lose all of his sleep. He's also been skipping all of his adoption interviews and staking everything on this invention. He finishes just in time to head to the school science fair with it. We cut to the fair with Lewis's teacher talking to one Dr. Krunkelhorn, and I feel a kindred spirit in her.
Is that a bow tie? I like bow ties. I haven't slept in 8 days.
I also really love the gym teacher, but he comes off so heavily like they wrote the character around Patrick Warburton's voice, but then couldn't get Patrick Warburton.
Judging a science fair. What's it look like I'm doing?
And what makes you qualified to judge a science fair?
The pec flex gets me every time though. Why do I find this so funny? This bit is fun, with a few other students showing off their entries. I especially love the Wednesday Addams parody with her fire ant farm. Lewis is getting set up, but there's a strange kid who pulls Lewis aside and barrages him with questions. Wilbur's actor really sells his character for me. The energy and line delivery really drives home his energetic and overly charismatic character. It reminds me of a well-intentioned used car salesman. Wilbur's after bowler hat guy, Lewis is clueless, and a girl's frogs get spilled. This will be important way later for bringing everything full circle. We see bowler hat guy for the first time, and my god, I just love his design so much. Bowler Hat Guy is perfect in the same way Waluigi or Robbie Rotten is perfect. He's so animated. Every single motion he makes is overflowing with cartoonish evil and drama. You can see the muscles in his neck twitch and strain while he makes these wild expressions. It's like Disney took all of its classic visual flair and exaggeration and put it in his character. This is it. He is the cartoonish part of this cartoon, and he is a perfect gift to cinema. His introduction is actually pretty menacing, peering out from the shadows with this incredibly sinister face that kind of reminds me of the Grinch. We see his bowler hat Doris sneak over to Lewis's invention, loosening a screw and sabotaging the memory scanner. The fact that Lewis was about to show the entire school his forgotten memories of the night he was abandoned is pretty wild to me. And again, Patrick Warburton, this is not.
Why that particular day? You didn't think I was paying attention, did you?
So upon starting it up, terrorism. Lewis blows up the entire science fair, nearly causing several casualties. He runs off in frustration, and Bowler Hat Guy makes off with the memory scanner in just perfectly villainous fashion. We then cut back to Lewis back on the roof of the orphanage. He looks through his invention journal and starts to rip pages out, frustrated and angry with himself. He's devastated by what this recent failure means for him. Thankfully, the moment isn't too heavy, with Wilbur just being perfect. Wilbur's pleading his case that he's from the future, that Bowler Hat Guy is real and dangerous, that he stole one of the 2 time machines from Wilbur's family and used it to come back here to steal Lewis's invention, but Lewis isn't buying any of it. In a last-ditch effort, Wilbur offers to prove he's from the future in exchange for Lewis going back to the science fair. The pair hop into Wilbur's time machine and take off for the future. I love this shift in tone so much. The colors become brighter, the sky becomes bluer, and the orchestral score starts to blend with a semi-abstract Jetsons-type vibe. It really pairs well with the visuals of the future city being very Art Deco retrofuturism. I always thought it felt kind of Dr. Seuss-y in a way too, with the design of the gadgets and building shapes. Makes me sad that we didn't get to see much of it, you know? While I would have loved for them to explore the futuristic city and society, I get why they didn't. The plot and pacing is already all over the place, and shoving in a city segment might have just made it worse overall. Make no mistake, I'm not here to say that Meet the Robinsons is a fantastic and flawless movie, because it's not. Just that, for me, it was and still is an extremely impactful one. As they fly through the city, Lewis tries to take control of the time machine ship so he can go back and meet his mom. It doesn't end well. They fight for control, the ship smashes into a building, and then crashes into the ground. I wonder if they have to pay for all that collateral damage. Wilbur now assigns Lewis the task of fixing the ship, and Lewis agrees, but only if Wilbur promises to take him back to meet his mom once it's repaired. Meanwhile, in the past, Bowler Hat Guy, or BHG, lies his way into a pitch meeting at Inventco where he plans to sell the stolen memory scanner as his own creation.
You're Mary Johnson.
Yes. Mary is short for,
I love that clip. This is where BHG's personality starts to show. He's pretty incompetent and short-sighted, but he also has a strange confidence and charisma that keep him from feeling like a total joke. He's just such a genuine character. This is where we get a running theme of BHG not fully thinking things through, which is something he'll get called out on several times throughout the movie. Upon his failed pitch, he gets thrown out of the building and instead sets his sights on chasing a small child. Back at the Robinson household, we meet the robot of the family. I kinda like him, he's pretty okay. And we get this perfect clip. He just does that so confidently and casually, like where did he even pull that from so fast? So Wilbur explains that Lewis's hair is a dead giveaway that he's from the past and instructs Lewis to stay put for a moment, which he immediately disregards. Uh-oh, shenanigans. Lewis is now left to wander the Robinson home and meet all the wacky family members. Okay, but seriously, I love most of the family, but especially these two. I love that no one seems to know who they're even related to, and they just hang out in the plants all day waiting for people to ring their doorbells. Is that an innuendo? We meet Lefty, the giant squid butler. Alright. Wilbur reveals to our robot buddy that he never planned on fulfilling his end of the promise to let Lewis meet his mom. Which, yeah, it's probably the most responsible thing to do, re the timeline. This is just setting up the lie revealed moment later on that doesn't really have lasting consequences of any kind and goes by very quickly. This whole stretch at the Robinson house is nonsense and foreshadowing, which, while I love the family members, it's still the weakest part of the movie because we spend so much time here just doing nothing. The movie has to set up the whole found family feeling so we can have a reason to care later, and it couldn't narratively do that with so many wacky characters, so it's all shoved into this one little bit. Having said that, this middle stretch has some of my favorite jokes and moments of the whole movie.
What's your name, Fruithead?
Is that a slur? So now Lewis is on an adventure with Old Man Bud to try and find the way to the garage. This house is goddamn massive, and that was a whole ass train. We also get the late great Adam West as the very Adam Westy Uncle Art.
Omega Galaxy needs a large cheese and sausage thin crust. I'll be there in 30 minutes. Or it's free.
I love that he's so serious and passionate about being a pizza delivery guy, and Adam West is always a delight. We also get a look at the concerning relationship between this man and his puppet wife. Having found out that Lewis left the garage, now we also have Wilbur searching around the gargantuan estate for him as Lewis and Bud look for the garage.
That's strange. She usually takes the Harley.
I promise I'll stop with the clip soon. I'm sorry, there's just so many good gags here. Speaking of, we have my favorite joke of the whole movie.
Why is your dog wearing glasses?
Oh, because his insurance won't pay for contacts.
It just comes so out of left field and is delivered so casually, it kills me. I don't know, I think I'm broken, guys. These singing frogs have also lived in my head for years now, and I don't know why I'm so obsessed with them. So yeah, this is literally all just gag after gag with little to no rhyme or reason. It feels like the writers just had a lot of good jokes and ideas, and also had a lot of time to fill. Again, it's pretty entertaining, but it definitely doesn't feel like it fits in with the rest of the movie. Everything else is so focused and emotional, and it does serve to relieve that tension, but it just goes on for a little too long. More importantly though, we rejoin BHG in the past. He sneaks into Lewis's orphanage thinking he's still there, only to be met with the ever-relatable Goob. This is a fantastic scene. The way BHG speaks so genuinely and caringly to Goob, as Goob shares how his day has just gone terribly, which of course results in the iconic,
Heed my words, Goob. Don't let it go.
Goob tells BHG to check the roof because Lewis just likes to chill up there. I'm resisting the urge to play every clip with Bowler Hat Guy, and it's really hard. Realizing that Lewis is in the future, BHG and Doris take off in the time machine.
I don't even know what I'm doing.
Keep moving forward.
I mean, this stuff is way too advanced for me.
Keep moving forward.
And what if I can't fix this? What are we gonna do?
Keep moving forward.
Keep moving forward. This sets up so much and is so important. Wilbur reveals that his dad is a legendary inventor who runs Robinson Industries, and Wilbur's dad, Cornelius, keeps the motto, keep moving forward. He and his whole family view failure very differently than most people. To Cornelius and his family, a failure is a learning experience and a valuable step towards success. Wilbur's mom calls the boys up for dinner, and we get a little more of the family all together, which is nice. Meanwhile, BHG and Doris make it to the Robinson house.
I know! I'll blow it up! Yes! Listen! No, it won't work. Then he'll be dead.
And they start to scheme. There's bits of foreshadowing and a joke that has aged terrifyingly well in the year of 2025.
Canada?
I think you mean North Montana. Hasn't been called Canada in years.
To distract from Lewis, Wilbur starts a food fight. We get treated to a fun little parody of old school dubbed kung fu movies. It's surprisingly intense here as brother and sister square off before Mommy Robinson claims victory. It does come off like the writers were trying way too hard to make the whole family super quirky and chaotic, but it's fine. Carl's PBJ gun gets jammed. Carl's the robot, by the way, I forgot to say that earlier. And Wilbur encourages Lewis to be the one to fix it. Even if you've never seen the movie, you can probably gather by now what the big twist of the movie might be. Lewis fails and the gun explodes, with Lewis apologizing and taking it hard, while the rest of the family just praises him. It's such a good contrast. The way Lewis reacts being an entirely average response to that kind of failure, while the family all view it as something to be celebrated. While all this is happening...
That's a good buzz.
How did that get left in the movie? So BHG can use a mini Doris to mind control things, and he sets his sights on one of the singing frogs. He orders the frog to grab Lewis, and the frog points out that, yeah, he's a frog, and this doesn't seem thought out. The family tells Lewis that there's way more to learn from failure than there is for success, and they reiterate that golden phrase, keep moving forward. The frog didn't work out, but BHG has a big idea and takes off in the time machine. Wilbur casually drops the info to his mom that Lewis is an orphan, and an actual dinosaur pops up being controlled by Bowler Hat Guy. This all takes off into a big, epic fight scene between the family and the T-Rex. It's pretty fun, honestly. It ends when Wilbur knocks Mini Doris off the dino, which leads to it being shoved in the trunk of a car driven by mafia frogs. Wait, what the fuck? After it's over, Lewis accidentally calls Mommy Robinson, no, I'm not gonna call her anything else, Mom. It's all good though. This makes her happy because she sees something remarkable in the kid. She even offers to adopt him, but we can't have this. So naturally, Wilbur knocks off Lewis's hat and the whole family instantly changes their tone. Suddenly, things are very serious and tense. They clearly know something that we don't. This is also where Wilbur reveals that his carelessness allowed Bowler Hat Guy to steal one of the time machines, and he and Lewis completely broke the other. Understandably, Mom is pissed. Wilbur also accidentally reveals that he never intended to let Lewis go back in time to meet his mom. As is tradition, Lewis runs off and Wilbur chases after. This is when Bowler Hat Guy pops up to offer our protag some temptation. He'll let Lewis go back and meet his mom if he repairs the memory scanner so BHG can sell it. Naturally, thanks to our trope-powered plot, Lewis is totally down and takes off. Cut to Lewis fixing the memory scanner and BHG did fakies. He has Doris tie up Lewis and reveal that they're actually in Lewis's old orphanage room. He also drops all the major twists of the movie, being that Lewis is actually Wilbur's father and BHG is actually Goob, who felt that Lewis ruined his life by making him so sleep deprived, which resulted in him costing his team the Big Little League game on the day of the science fair. This is a fascinating part of the movie to look at. Goob's flashbacks showing how he was lost in his self-loathing and self-pity that he isolated himself and held on to his hate this entire time. Don't let it go. We also get the reveal that Goob is still wearing his old Little League uniform, which kinda works. It really sells his obsessive mania and refusal to let go of the past. It's pathetic, but in an oddly frightening way. It also reveals that Goob isn't really a bad guy. His thoughts of revenge are things like egging the Robinson house or just ruining Lewis's life. It's only through Doris encouraging and enabling him that he becomes a much larger threat, which I think sets up well the reveal in a little bit. See, Doris was actually invented by adult Lewis, also known as Cornelius. but she gained sentience alongside a sociopathic streak and was considered a failure. So they reunited from that shared grudge towards Lewis. This moment was one of the ones that stuck with me. I'll go over my relationship with this movie at the end, but this moment is very powerful for me. The sharp contrast of Lewis having an epiphany as Goob embraces his self-destructive behavior to actively avoid the responsibility he knows he should accept is very effective. The true meaning of keep moving forward being that accepting responsibility for the course of your life and letting go of the past when you need to being completely lost on Goob. Now with the repaired memory scanner, Goob drags Lewis to the roof with him, ready to set out for the past to redo his botched pitch meeting. But Wilbur followed the two here and helps Lewis escape off the roof and take back the memory scanner. We have a clean getaway as Carl Mr. Fantastics them home safely. Good God, that was brutal. Obviously, that's not the ending. Goob and Doris take out Carl, steal back the machine, and change the entire timeline. The bad future is incredibly bleak and dark, Lewis watching everything change around him in real time. Not gonna mention all the possible plot holes and paradoxes because we'd be here all day, just accept this world plays by its own rules and it'll save you a lot of headache. Lewis finds the memory scanner at what was the Robinson home. Doris is attached to it and sees how Doris was really just using Goob as a pawn, with the real goal for Doris being world domination. Clothes taking over, huh? I wonder if Meet the Robinsons inspired Kill la Kill.
Doris, what's happening? I don't understand. He just wanted to ruin his future, not this.
Goob didn't want this. He didn't want to destroy everything and everyone or commit these kind of atrocities. Guy just wanted to show up his rival, that's all. The Robinson family, all now controlled by mini Dorises, Dorisi, all now being controlled by Doris, attack Lewis and the time machine. Just as the time machine gets pushed off the ledge, however, Lewis has a brain blast and fixes it, soaring through the city in a great juxtaposition of the fly-through in the beginning. Lewis realizes what he needs to do, and he sets off for the past to fix the timeline once and for all. He stops Goob from signing the contract and declares that he will never invent Doris, wiping the murderous hat from existence. He takes Goob back to the future as we watch everything revert to its proper, colorful state. This scene was handled so well. Lewis huddles up with Wilbur to tell him that the family should adopt Goob because he's not really a bad person, with Goob overhearing. It's a super sweet moment that's played surprisingly bittersweet. As the pair turn around, Goob is gone. He ran off while they were talking, leaving only his checklist behind, which now only has one unchecked box next to a question mark. This is so beautiful. He could have been given that easy, happy ending, but instead they went with something far more impactful. Goob wanders off, now presumably confronting his past and the decisions that he's made, setting off to find his own future. That could have been a cheap victory and an easy, happy ending, but the amount of restraint here is impressive, and I like this outcome a lot more. We don't always need happy endings for everyone, guys. I promise. It's okay. Cornelius returns home from work and gets appraised of the situation, or maybe he remembers it happened. I don't know. I try not to think too much about it. Anyway, he shows Lewis his future lab and the invention that started this whole thing. The memory scanner. He tells young Lewis that this could be his future, all depending on how he lives his life, how he keeps moving forward. He says his goodbyes and Wilbur takes him back home, except no. He actually takes Lewis back to the night he was abandoned. He wants to make good on his promise. Lewis almost meets her, but he decides he already has his own family in the future and runs off, giving us that strange running noise from the opening scene. Full circle. With a renewed sense of purpose, Lewis heads back to his time, back to the science fair. First though, he goes to Goob's game and wakes him up, letting his team win the game. Then he heads to the science fair. His adopted dad of Bud and forgot the adopted mom's name, Lucille, his adopted parents making themselves known, and then he also meets Franny. Remember the frogs? All the frogs? Full circle. This ending bit is like a drug to me. It lights up my brain like a Christmas tree. Little Wonders by Rob Thomas starts playing over a montage of Lewis slowly moving in with his new parents, leaving his old life behind to move forward. We pan out as we see Lewis filling his future lab with inventions and notes, and I cry almost every time. That oppressive feeling I mentioned in the beginning of the movie gives way to freedom. The sensation of a wide open sky with infinite possibilities takes over, and we fade to a quote from Walt Disney. Around here, however, we don't look backwards for very long. We keep moving forward, opening up new doors and doing new things because we're curious. And curiosity keeps leading us down new paths. Keep moving forward. And that's Meet the Robinsons. This movie genuinely changed me. That might sound strange or even stupid to some people, I am well aware, but seeing this movie when I did, it changed the entire trajectory of my life. I never saw this movie in theaters or even on DVD. I didn't watch this until about a decade later when I was in my early 20s and it was on a streaming service. A time in my life where I really was on that goob trajectory. I had a real rough childhood and I was still having a real rough life, and I kept myself in that victimized mindset. I fell into that trap of blame and hatred and anger, and though it would take me years to even just begin making meaningful change, this planted a seed in me. I saw mirrors of my own emotions and thoughts. The point of the movie hit me deep, and since then, that motto has unironically been in the back of my head. Keep moving forward. Even today, as life becomes more terrifying than ever for trans and non-binary people like myself who live here in the US, even today as I face massive crossroads in my personal and professional life, even today as I struggle to even have a stable place to live, that message is still driving me forward. Your life is yours to live. Failures and successes both being vital to deciding who you become and where you end up, what your future will be like. I want to thank you all for sharing your time with me today. If you enjoyed this, let me know with a comment or a like, and if you enjoy my content specifically, hit the subscribe button for me. It helps out a lot. I hope you know that you're all loved, and until next time, keep moving forward.